G'day guys. A little while ago I received a comment on my running Windows 10 on the EPC video mentioning Q4OS runs really well on these netbooks. I had never heard of it before, but after looking it up was really excited to try it out for myself. So a huge thank you to Tutor Marketing for letting me know about it. I downloaded the 32-bit Trinity Q4OS Aquarius version from the official Q4OS website, which I will link down below, and wrote the roughly 700 meg image to this cheap 8GB flash drive using Rufus. But it does also fit on a standard writable CD. We'll be trying it on the Asus eePC 1000HA from 2008, which features an Intel Atom N280 CPU and only 2GB of RAM. This little guy is pretty beat up, so I will be using an external keyboard, mouse and monitor to make it a little easier. Let's get into it. I've hooked everything up, we've powered it on, it's got into the BIOS. You can see it is the Atom N280 with 2GB of RAM. We'll go over to boot, make sure our flash drive is first, and it is removable device, that's good. We'll go to exit and save, and hopefully it boots from our flash drive. Unfortunately, it does not like our old Atom. The system requirements were fairly low, and it mentioned this was the 32-bit version, so I think we'll go back to the Q4OS website and see if there's an older version. We're back a little while later. I did try multiple older versions, but they all threw the same error. For some reason, when writing the image to a flash drive and trying to boot it, it would always come up with that same 64-bit error, even though we are using the 32-bit version. So I thought I would try burning it to a CD, and that actually worked. So if you have the same issue, try writing it to a CD instead. Make sure it's set to boot from CD, and it is. And we'll save and exit. And we're on the installer page. Unfortunately, there is no live 32-bit version, so we will need to actually install it. I'm pretty sure this hard drive only has Windows Tiny 10 installed from our previous video, so I'm not too worried. We'll go classic install. Didn't take too long, but we're on the language select screen now. We'll go English, go up to Australia, keep the American key map. It's worth noting I don't have any network connected to this old netbook, so everything is being installed from the CD. It wants a full name for our user. I'll go SJSLTCH, keep the same username. Wants a password, I'll just do something simple. New South Wales. We'll go guided, use the whole disk. Got our 160GB SATA drive in there. Looks good. We'll go finish partitioning and write changes to disk. Go yes. It has sat on this screen for a few minutes, which is a bit worrying. The CD has completely stopped spinning. The hard drive activity light is still very slowly blinking though, so hopefully it is still doing something. And it thankfully jumped up to 93%. It's finally finished installing, took a little over an hour. It did automatically eject the CD, which is good. We'll go continue to reboot. We're at grub, we'll go desktop. Got a mouse cursor, it's a good sign. And we're at the login screen. The username was sjsltech, or can we double click on the user? We can, password. Before we log in, I'll just see what menu is. So just basic settings. We'll go to default and we'll go login. We've got a pop-up now, it says setup is finished, but no desktop profile has been applied, and it recommends us to apply one. So click OK. Pretty cool little loading screen. And we're finally on the desktop. So here's our welcome screen. We do have sound, it's playing a little song in the background, little jingle. It did say we should run the desktop profiler, so we'll do that first. I guess we'll select the full-featured desktop, although I'm guessing it wants to install it from internet, which I don't have. I'll plug in an Ethernet cable, and I think we'll do the full install. I've plugged in the Ethernet. We'll see if it is detected. It says, yep, wired connection, DHCP, that looks good. We'll go install, and hopefully everything works. We're finally back again. It did take over an hour and a half to actually finish installing everything. So we'll click finish, and we'll take a look at what was installed. It does want us to re-log on, so we'll click yes. Back at the login screen, and we're back on the desktop. We'll leave everything else as default for now. I'll untick show this dialog on startup, close that off. So on the desktop, you can see we do now have LibreOffice installed, Synaptic Package Manager, Thunderbird, VLC, and Chromium. We won't bother testing Chromium just because this really old netbook is far too old to actually do anything online. So this is the start menu, and you can see it looks a lot like Windows. That's a nice little touch. You've got all the most common shortcuts on the right-hand side. We'll go to Applications, go to Programs. Oh, there's heaps now. Accessories. There's a bunch in here. I didn't show it on camera, but while it was installing, I did take a look, and pretty much all these menus were very empty. We've got games in here now. We'll go back, Auto Start, Chromium. We'll go to games. We've got Solitaire, Bounce Ball, and Minesweeper. Or Minesweeper light game. I like that. We'll try Solitaire. I do like the little loading icon next to the mouse. There we go. And yeah, Solitaire works fine. We'll try Bounce Ball game. I'm guessing this is like Breakout. We'll go new. There we go. Oh, it's more like Quicks, where you have to try and block off the entire level, or color it in like that. Right-clicking changes the orientation, so I can do that. I'm not too sure what percentage we need to win. Oh, there we go. That's a pretty cool game. Close out of it. And the last one is Minesweeper-like. So I'm guessing it is just Minesweeper. Yeah, lost already. Lost again. So there's the 3 games. What else do we have? We've got LibreOffice. These all look really heavy, but we'll try Open Word Processor. Again, this is a very old netbook, so I'm not expecting it to be very fast. I'm not sure if it crashed or if it's still loading. There we go. Came back. It's quite slow to load. I'm not surprised. I think we're loaded. We got tooltips. Close that off. So once it's loaded, it's not too bad. But yeah, it took around 30 seconds to actually open. We got Look Switcher. Not too sure what this is. I'm guessing it's just a theme. Yeah, just themes. That looks a lot like Windows. I might apply that one. Oh, we have to log out again. We'll log out again. I do want to see this Windows XP style desktop. We'll log back in. So the taskbar's on the left-hand side now. A bit different. Looks like it is still loading though. There we go. So that looks a lot like Windows XP. And the taskbar looks a little bit like Aeroglass, I think it was called, in Windows Vista. I believe it was introduced. Wonder if we can drag it down to the bottom. No, we can't just drag it. I'm assuming there is a setting for it though. Configure. Yeah, you can put it down in the middle. But it didn't go. I click cancel. There we go. So it is back down the bottom now. That looks a lot like Windows XP with the Windows Vista taskbar actually. And this also looks a lot more like Windows XP. That is very cool. That is awesome. What's science? Formula editor. Just LibreMath. Office, we've been there. Nothing too special in there. Multimedia. Audio player. CD and DVD burning. It's handy. Recording tool. Volume levels. And VLC. We'll open VLC. I will note pretty much everything worked out of the box on this little eePC. So the trackpad works. I am using a USB mouse, but this is the trackpad now. There's audio. The built-in network card obviously works. There's no wireless card in this laptop. It is broken. But it is great that it is pretty much fully supported. You won't allow metadata. Click continue. Just plugged in my test media flash drive. It did auto pop up. Again, very similar to Windows. We'll go open a new window. Wonder if it can snap to... No, it doesn't have snap. Oh, it does have snap. You can snap to sides. You just gotta wait a little bit. This is very similar to Windows, I've gotta say. Go to Big Buck Bunny. Obviously these high-end ones don't work on this laptop, but the XVID 480p I think should work. Oh, it doesn't like it. Is there a context entry? Open with VLC. Hey, it loaded. So you can't just drop media onto VLC, but you can actually open if you right-click on the media itself. It's a little bit laggy. It is definitely struggling. There we go. Now it's loaded in. It looks fine. We'll try full screen. And full screen works as well. So local media playback works. Obviously nothing high-end, but performance is pretty much the same as it was on just about every other OS that we tried on this little netbook. What else do we have? Under graphics, we do have color paint. I think I'll have a look at that. Wow, that looks just like Microsoft Paint. This is crazy. It looks closer to the paint in Windows 95. So I don't know if that was made open source and they've just cloned it, or if it is just designed to look like that. What's this Q picture do? Color symmetry. Not too sure what this does. Yeah, I have no idea what that color symmetry does. Yeah, it's a pretty cool little paint program. Does it have gradient fill? It does not have gradient fill. What's this do? Hey, look at that. I don't know if that's transparency. It is transparency. That is very cool. I like that. Get out of paint. I will also mention all of these sound effects are very similar to Windows. You can't really hear it because the netbook's built-in speaker is very quiet and I don't have external speakers plugged in. But all of these sound effects are pretty much ripped straight from Windows. At least they sound like it. There's not much else installed. I think we'll open up Synaptic Package Manager, which I believe is the software store. Put our password in. Just tells us a little bit about it. Click close. Full screen. Let's go down to games. Where are we? Games and amusement. What's the other one? Contribute or non-free. So different sections, but we'll go games and amusement, which hopefully selects all of them. And these are all the games up here. Gotta find something that might work on this old laptop. Airstrike sounds fun. We'll try that one. Mark for installation, mark, and apply. Yep, need both of them, apply. Looks like it's installing, and that was very quick. I'll click close. We'll close out of the package manager, and hopefully it shows up under our games folder. Airstrike, there it is. Loaded instantly. In the game, press escape for a menu. Winner is the first to 5 points. Press any key to start. I'm the little aeroplane on the left, I think. Sure, which, not too sure how to control it. There we go. Can I go full screen? So going full screen, oh, here we go. Did work. I was going to say it showed up on the little laptop screen first, but it just took a little bit for the TV to auto-adjust. We go, so right player keyboard. Not sure how to restart. I think I'm the blue one? This is very confusing. I can't work out how to play it. Player setup. I'll go left player, right player. Ah, there's keys. I'll go left player keys again. So fire is left shift, good to know. Turn counterclockwise, turn clockwise. Accelerate, do control. Bomb, change it to alt, and that's it. So if we go back, that should make a lot more sense. There we go. Oh. Okay, so I'm the red one on the left. There we go. Shift shoots. Oh. This is very hard to control. That's a pretty fun game. Very, very hard to control though. I'm not sure if it's because I've already been damaged. It looks like I am on fire. Smoking at least. We'll close out of this. Our resolution hasn't auto-adjusted back. Refresh desktop? Nope. Configure desktop maybe. Display. You can see it is slightly wrong. I might change it down slightly. Click apply. And then I'll change it back up. If I go... So there's nothing on the TV, but on the laptop it says, do I want to return to previous? I said yes. Hopefully it comes back. And it hasn't. So I've lost the TV completely. I think I'll go log out and hopefully that fixes it. Had to press a key on the TV. It's logging back in, but there's still nothing on our telly. I might re-plug the VGA cable. I've reconnected the VGA cable, still nothing. I may have to fully reset the laptop. Restarting did thankfully fix it. I'm guessing when we went full screen in that game, it did break something. I may as well try Chromium just to see if we can at least get to Google. This is a fairly modern OS, so this should be a fairly up-to-date version of Chromium since we did just install it. It is quite slow to open. Chromium is quite bloated though. It looks like it did come with uBlock Origin. That is awesome. It was obviously turned off because Chrome's quite aggressive against that these days. But I think we can manually re-enable it under here. Turn it back on. Turn on. Pin it. Yep, we do still have uBlock Origin. No, it turned it back off again. It won't let us do it without developer mode. That's pretty annoying. We should still be able to use uBlock Lite though. uBlock Origin Lite. Google works at least. Pretty sure we have to scroll right for the download button or the install button. There we go. Still loading. There we go, it's loaded. Add to Chrome, add extension. I'm impressed how snappy this is actually. It was never this fast in Windows 7 Embedded or Tiny 10, so that's a huge plus. Having said that, it is still installing the extension, and it's installed. I'll pin it just so we can see how many ads we're blocking. So YouTube is going to be unplayable. We won't bother taxing this little CPU too much. We'll see if we can go to Wikipedia though. It loaded fairly quickly. There's ours, the 1000 series. So this is the HD, ours is the HA, and we are maxed out at our 2 gig of DDR2. Our battery life wasn't as good as the original either. We may as well try YouTube then. It might be slightly more playable. Web browsing certainly is a lot more usable. So it's having a good crack at loading the page. If you didn't know, YouTube is an incredibly heavy site to actually load on these old devices. Almost loaded. The CPU fans ramped right up in this little laptop as well. See if I can search for something. There we go, it's loaded. Open it up, if it'll let me. Actually, if it's not too late, can I open the printer video? Ah, it is too late. No, it is loading the video. I will say, so far navigating YouTube is a lot faster on this OS than it was on any other OS that we've tried. We'll see if playback's any good. Turn autoplay off, see if I can change the settings down to the lowest. I have clicked it, it is still loading. Here we go, 144p, give it the best chance. So it is playing sound. The video seems to be okay. See if I can skip. It is actually playing. That is very impressive. See if I can open stats for nerds. So we're dropping a fair few frames. It is really struggling, but it is technically playable. If you had to watch something, maybe get some information from YouTube, I would say it's not pleasant, but it is usable. That is very impressive. One thing I didn't show was utilities at the very bottom. What's under accessibility? Screen magnifier, pretty standard. Desktop, calculator, notes, clipboard, desktop pager. Not too sure what this is. So we can toggle through desktops. Fair enough. Editors. Oh yeah, there's text editors. File manager. Oh, archiving tool. Handy. Peripherals, print jobs. It did install printer drivers when I did the initial desktop setup. Imager. I'm guessing that writes images to flash drives. Something like Rufus. And character selector. Guessing that is just all the, like a character map. It is. Go to system. We do have performance monitor. So this is similar to your task manager in Windows. You can see at the very bottom, it says we have used 1.2 gig of our RAM. We still have 800 meg free. That does seem like a lot, but we did run Chrome earlier, so I'm wondering if it just hasn't freed up that RAM. Overall, this is a super cool OS. I'm really glad it was recommended to me. It is a little bit slow to actually boot. It takes around 2 minutes from power off until you are logged into the desktop. Since it is based on Debian, we obviously have a lot of software available, which is great. I love the fact that they themed it to be pretty much the same as Windows. I think that's really cool. I think this is the best web browsing performance we've ever had on this little netbook as well, so that is really impressive. It was a bit disappointing that there was no 32-bit live CD version, only 64-bit live CD, but since 32-bit OSs were generally discontinued quite a while ago, I am glad they still support it at all. I wasn't able to get it booting from USB, kept throwing a 64-bit error, but running the ISO to a CD worked perfectly. I also really like that when it's first installed, it doesn't come with any bloat. You just have the bare necessities, and it instead asks you if you want to keep the basic desktop environment, do a full install. That did actually install LibreOffice, Chromium, and all the other programs and games. I'll definitely be having a play around with this some more, and I wouldn't mind trying this on a slightly more modern PC as well, as I think it'll absolutely fly on one. I think that'll do it for today. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.